Hello to everyone and welcome back to Multifamily Mastery. This is the podcast where I take you on a journey into multifamily investment as a complete beginner and hopefully end up somewhere someday. I'm your host, Jonathan Zook, and once again, welcome. All right, it has been a while since I have uploaded on this channel and on this podcast. So this episode will just kind of be like a little quick update of where I've been at, what I've been doing, and then kind of the future of this podcast. So first off, I graduated high school and started a new job as an electrician. And it's really exciting for me because there was like, with the time with school and with the job that I had before, school was like mentally stimulating, but the job that I had before wasn't. It was just landscaping. So it was a lot of the same thing every day, just kind of monotonous, mind-numbing type stuff. And being an electrician is very, very, very different from that. And I honestly, when I was first getting into it, I didn't know how much, like just how complicated it all is and like how much there is to learn, which is really cool. And I'm super excited about that because I'll be able to push myself a lot more and learn some new things that I'm genuinely interested in. But with that comes the whole blue collar aspect of working really long shifts. And it's definitely taking some time to get used to working long hours. And it takes a lot of time away from everything else that I want to do in my life. But it is okay because this is the path that I'm taking. And yes, I have to start here because I have to learn things, and working those shifts will also bring a lot of learning, discipline, and hard work. There's definitely good in that either way. I do see my future in construction and real estate, getting started now when I'm young, learning as much as I possibly can. And I've already learned so much in like the 2 months that I've been working there, but there's so much more to learn, especially not even in just the trade that I'm in, but the whole construction world in general. So right now I'm kind of going through my little apprenticeship phase, and then a couple years down the road, and when I feel the time is right, I will either start my own company in some type of field, probably in the trades and starting an electrical company, or joining in with my dad who already has his own company building custom houses. But I do feel like this time to kind of be out on my own, learn things on my own will be crucial in what I want to do working with him eventually. And honestly, his company, it's not at the size yet where I could really be of much help if I just went straight on to work for him. So I'm really excited about kind of getting out on my own, learning as much as I can, and learning things in a separate field of construction other than his that we can then implement when we start working together. All right, now kind of addressing where I've been the last couple months. First off, it was that new job that's taking up a very, very, very large amount of my time. Secondly, I broke my collarbone a couple months back, and that surprisingly messed me up mentally a lot more than I thought it would. And it taught me a couple things. One of them being the importance of discipline. When I first broke it, it was a really bad break, completely snapped. I could not use my left arm. I was in a sling for about a month and a half. So I couldn't do my job, which was landscaping. And I couldn't do so many other things that I had planned on doing because it happened right at the beginning of summer. And I had a lot of things planned that I then either had to do differently or just not do at all. And I told myself during this time that it would be the perfect opportunity to really focus on real estate and on this. But to be completely real with you guys, I wasn't disciplined enough. Before it happened, I was working full time. But that also stopped when I broke my collarbone because it was very physical and just I couldn't do it with one arm. And with all that extra time, I thought it would be like really cool. Like I could really, like all this time that I had before, I could devote on to this real estate, this podcast, my social media presence, all that stuff. But that wasn't the case. I ended up really not doing much during that time, which was good. If you look at it that way, it was in itself a good, nice break, time to look back, reflect, and reevaluate a lot of things in my life. But still, looking back on that time, I could have done a lot differently. I could have done a lot more. And one of the things that I found out about myself, and probably for a good amount of other people, is that pushing myself physically is a pretty direct correlation to be able to push myself in other aspects of life. For example, when this collarbone is recovered, and I've been able to get back in the gym now, do a lot more physical things, I felt a lot, I don't want to say motivated, because I view discipline a lot more. I view discipline over motivation, basically. So realizing the lack of it that I had when I thought I had discipline, realizing that lack of it has really kind of hit me. But going back to the pushing yourself physically aspect of it, when I got back in the gym and able to do more things like this, I really felt a lot more motivated to be working on this again, as well as starting to feel better on those long shifts at work. It just genuinely helped a lot more. So if you are someone who is not physically active and not pushing yourself, I feel like it would be a good idea to start, because it helps in so many other aspects of life. Another thing I've realized is the importance of giving yourself grace. Me personally, I am very hard on myself a lot, just like who isn't really hard on yourself? Like, you're your worst critic. So when I first started this new job, I was like, okay, give yourself some time, really focus on this job and learn as much as you can during that time. And now that my collarbone is fully recovered, I'm conditioning the shoulder back to be how it was before, because the collarbone is perfectly fine now. It feels great, but it messed up my left shoulder a good bit. So conditioning that back to how it should be again. That I'm kind of a little bit more used to this job. Expect consistent uploads once again after this little break. At the end of every month, expect an upload. This one's a little bit late and not really on that timeline, but expect that from now on. And also for myself, I'm putting it out here now. I'm expecting daily action towards this, a certain amount of times per week and a certain amount of time per day. I've read this book called, what was it called? Shoot, I forgot what it was called. It was called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And it talked a lot about, it's the compound effect, how consistent effort over time creates momentum. And so that's what I'm trying to do here, is create that momentum, be incredibly, incredibly consistent with this, and building up over time, doing more time per day, more days per week, stuff like that, and eventually getting to where I want to get to. And one last thing that's kind of been messing with this and working on real estate is that due to personal reasons, I literally cannot buy real estate right now. It's not excuses, it's just kind of a fact. And hopefully in the next couple months, as everything that is going on kind of works itself out, I will be able to actually buy something, which I know I definitely could have still practiced during this time and learned about it, but it kind of taught me the importance of goals. It's hard working towards something that isn't even possible at the moment. And yes, it will be possible later on, but still, it's the importance of goals. It's like having something that you're working towards, that is motivating you, that's pushing you to do better. But with all that being said, during this time, I'm going to get back into it. I'm going to refresh myself on a lot of the things to do with multifamily, and I'm going to try my very best not to let that hold me back, even though all those things are still in the process and I can't buy any real estate right now. I can still work on it, and I'm going to do my absolute best to do so. And also with the podcast, I'm going to try to push it a lot more, try to get it out to more people, because I haven't really done much of that. I've been putting a good amount of effort into the podcast itself to kind of get it established. And now I think I'm at the point where I can put a lot more effort into growing it bigger, getting a bigger audience, talking to more people, hopefully getting organic connections and new guests that can come on, new mentors, people to talk with, new connections and stuff like that. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys at the end of this month.